the Healing Through Love podcast with Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson. Discover how to turn your traumas into treasures through self-love, healing and overcoming imposter syndrome with Fari, Gonzaque in episode 94.
There's not one prescription for all. It's not one size fits all. I'm a massive believer of how you create that space for someone who deals with this specific thing that they're going through. But on a nutshell, to say that is just that we're all raised hearing and watching, judging people, and we learn to become that. When this judgment is so strong and become that judgmental person, it's the number one reason we all go down and we all go miserable and we are so unhappy with our lives, with everything the way it is.
Welcome to another episode of Healing Through Love. Each week, we share ideas, experiences, and resources to increase the awareness of domestic and family violence and to empower survivors to grow and thrive. We talk with experts who share their advice, or with people who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey. This is all about healing through love. And now, here are your hosts, Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to the Healing Through Love podcast. This is the space where stories of strength, resilience and transformation unfold. I'm your host, Rose Davidson, and I'm honoured to be your guide on this journey of empowerment and healing. Today we have a very special episode tailored just for you. Whether you're driving, sipping a cup of tea or simply taking a moment for yourself, I want you to know that you are in a safe space. Healing Through Love is more than a podcast. It's a community, a beacon of hope and a reminder that you aren't alone. In this episode, we have a guest who will share a story that resonates with the core of our mission, a story that illuminates the power of love, resilience, and the unwavering strength that lies within each of us. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let the healing journey begin. But before we dive into today's inspiring conversation, just a quick reminder, if you find value in our episodes and consider supporting us by liking us on Facebook or Instagram or one of our channels on YouTube or SoundCloud, and perhaps leave a review. Your engagement helps us to reach more hearts and to spread the message of healing. And today my guest is Fari Gonzaque. Yes,
That's
Gonzaque.
Right. You said it.
We're talking about how our trauma and the challenges that we faced, they're life lessons. They're not a life sentence. And Fari is in pursuit of freedom and finding a voice. And she left Iran at the age of 21. She holds American and England close to her heart. With an unwavering passion for spirituality, health and fitness, she has flourished as a successful fitness trainer and a health and wellness coach, guiding clients on these paths for over 3 decades. Mm-hmm. Draws from all relationship types, from work, family and romance, and her own adventurous life experiences to help clients achieve success in their relationships that have otherwise eluded their grasp. Fari, my goodness, I got tongue-tied. Fari believes the past traumas are purely life lessons and not life sentences. She strongly believes there is a diamond in all challenges and one only has to look within. Fari, it's a pleasure to have you on the Healing Through Love podcast. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me and having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about your background. I alluded to that you are a coach, but, how did you start this journey and, who are your main clients?
I don't know if I started this journey or was it part of my being. It was part of I never said I wanted to be a coach. I said I wanted to be a fitness trainer, but it was just the way people were constantly talking to me and approaching me. When I say people, like my clients, and when you go and have your haircut done once a 6 weeks, once a 8 weeks, and you go to the same person, you say, "Hey, how are you doing? How are kids?" Now imagine people come to you 3 times a week. They were coming to me. So then they started talking about their private life, the issues. And I myself, coming from so much trauma, leaving Iran, coming from a very dysfunctional family, wanting to find my voice, pursuing really my happiness and freedom. When I left Iran, and I thought life is going to be all glory and it's going to be magnificent, and I will be on a white horse going around the world and there'll be no more traumas. And little did I know, soon after I left Iran, the revolution in Iran started, and that was 1978. I thought I'm just running away from my family, but the mess started in Iran, in the government of, Iran, and with the world, and with the Iranian themselves. And wherever we were, as an Iranian, can you imagine that? That's a 21-year-old girl, innocent, doesn't speak any English or hardly. And now she's trying to pursue her happiness, but then wherever she goes, she's got lots of black hair, she's got a dark skin, she's trying to speak English with a very broken English, and everybody says, "Oh God, no, you're rubbish, you go back home, you're as good as nothing," and constantly getting rejected. And this continued. And when I was 27 years old in England, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. The rejection of life gave me nothing but pain and agony in life. Where do you store it except in you? And I was very much, thank God, that was my gift from heaven, that I inherited my father's genes and be into fitness. So I never got a chance to become alcoholic or drug addict. So my drug of choice was working out. Like in London, was pouring with rain all the time, and I would wear clogs, not even a normal shoe, and I would run from underground station to the buses, or if there's no bus, I would run with them, and I caused a lot of problem in my body. But it was super problematic and traumatizing dealing with all of that. And it was so bad that one morning when I was going to work in London, my hair was down, and the rain had just stopped, and I was so excited that it's not raining, but it's cloudy, and I am walking to work, and that was like 40 minutes walk. And as I was going, the skinheads were upstairs and they saw me going, and I had imagined a zillions amount of hair down to your elbow, and they poured a pitch of green paint on top of my head, and it was all over me, and I got glued with that, and I had to walk 40 minutes to get to where I was. And the people that I was working for, they were a bunch of beautiful, fabulous Greek people, and the guys, they all started crying. And they shaved my hair, they took my clothes off. It was difficult and all of that. So that, you just lose yourself, you lose your identity. You just feel like, why am I even alive in this world? And it was one after the other one, until when I left and I came to America, and I was just like praying to God, what am I going to do? What is my job? What do I do? But I was so into fitness. So the more I got into fitness, and fitness turned out to be my position and my job, and people were talking to me without me inviting it, being a coach became part of my being a fitness trainer. But then when they're talking to me, they're talking about relationships, the problems with their spouses, with their mother. So it wasn't just health and wellness. And that's why today I'm being called a transformational relationship, because I have learned so much from myself and people around me that unless you have a relationship to yourself and you begin mending yourself, you can never be a friend, a proper partner, a decent mother, decent father, a good brother. No matter what, you will not be able to relate to people. Then the control freak comes in, anger and frustration comes in, animosity comes in. And that's how I became who I have become today.
What a incredible journey. I mean, it's a bit exciting, I guess, because you traveled from one country to another, but the things that happened to you because of your race, I guess, is can be, well, would have been quite traumatic, because you don't want things poured on you, and then you've got to have your head shaved, and people being mean to you because of where you come from. And to me, in those days, it was quite prevalent, and unfortunately today it's still prevalent. And we would have thought that over the years or decades that we would have learned from those bad behaviors and become better people, but unfortunately there's still
Not so.
it's still going on, and I don't understand why. I mean, I've never myself been racist in that way, where I think that someone's worse than me or better than me because of where they were born or what religion they are. I think we all bleed red. So honestly, unless you've got blue blood or green blood or something,
That's
that might
right.
be a little bit frightened of. But
Well, all
we're
of that is being taught in the
why the
house.
world is like it is.
Yeah, that's being taught in the house as kids. All of that hate and racism and animosity is being taught at home. And
It is.
would this world stop that? We don't know, but what we can do is that I love what they asked Mother Teresa. How do we stop the war, and how do we become friendly? Because if you want to change the world and you want to stop the war in the world, go home and start loving your family. Very simple. If you love your family, what would they learn? They learn love, they learn support, they learn unity. And
yes. Yeah, it's got to. I mean, you're right. It does start at home, and we hopefully in the next generation, or maybe the one after that, this racism won't exist any longer, because we would have learned lessons about that. So
that's right.
Anyway, Fari, you help individuals move from feeling lost and lonely to feeling rejuvenated through empowering and empowerment and self-love and learning respect for yourself and for others. How do you use that to or how do you use your skills to help people to get those things?
There's not one prescription for all. It's not one size fits all. I'm a massive believer of how you create that space for someone who deals with this specific thing that they're going through. But on a nutshell, to say that is just that we're all raised hearing and watching, judging people, and we learn to become that. When this judgment is so strong and become that judgmental person, it's the number one reason we all go down and we all go miserable, and we are so unhappy with our lives, with everything the way it is, because we're busy judging. We're busy giving name tag on everything and everybody else. Why this one is doing that way, I don't like it. Why that one is doing that is not it doesn't suit me. Oh my God, look, the other one doesn't like me. This one doesn't love me. Why don't they love you? Is our thoughts that it causes us so much agony, our thoughts that causes us so much animosity. Once we learn these are only thoughts, that it makes us so depressed. And most of the time when we go through that depression, we don't even talk about it. We internalize it, and we just, everything is within ourselves. I won't tell you not to upset you, but it's eating me up. And when this not say anything, it comes in, it eats us up. And that's why I always say, expression is opposite of depression. When you speak up, you release the depression in you. When you speak up and you ask for help, or you express what's in you, you release so much of this from within. When we don't do that, because we're dealing with so much depression, we want other people to love us so bad, and we want other people to see us so bad, that we do anything possible to just be loved and be seen. And then we become a pleaser. So when we have to say yes to everything that we like, we say no because that person likes to hear it, and I satisfy that. Or when I need to say no, I know inside me I'm dying, boiling in me to say no, but I'm saying yes because that other person gets pleased, and then they will get me into their gathering, into their lives and all that. When we learn that, to speak up, which for every person is a different size, if you know what I mean. As I always say, is not one size fits all. When we learn how to do it and you go around it, then you just realize that judgmental mentality is a number one enemy. And then the more we sit on these thoughts and we don't do anything physically, mentally, we need to work out, as simple as going for a nice walk. We need to do breath work, which is dead easy, but it needs consistency. When we do all of that, we find the inner remedy rather than popping up pills. I'm not saying no one should take pills. I am not qualified for that. I'm not a psychologist, not a psychotherapist, not a psychiatrist. I'm none of that. But when we find the easy way out, oh, this is hurting me, so let me numb myself with more medication, the amount of medication will increase. But once we realize it's an internal work that we have to do, not only there is a decrease in the amount of medication that we take, because we're now being our own best friend. We are now talking to our depression. We're now dealing with our depression by expressing what's eating us up. And that's why coaches come in, because lots of people either can't talk to their whoever it is that they have problem, and they need a third person to help them, to show them the way. When a child walks and wants to cross the street, you don't say, come on, go around by yourself. You hold their hand tight and you say, go with me, stop with me, and you direct the way. And I always see my clients as that kid that needs this mother to hold the hand and say, look, I know where I'm going. I've been there, and I'm telling you, come my way, and you don't have to go through my painful path to learn as painfully that I had to learn it. And then again, I'm grateful that I had to go through all that painful path, because then I found a diamond in it. That's when I realized all that I've been through in life is not for me to be a miserable woman sitting there and say, the hell with the world. People are bad and sad. It's for me to say, thank you, thank you, thank you. You all have been the best teacher for me. So I learn and not do that.
Yeah, it can be difficult to take, traumatic experiences and as life lessons. You think that something really bad's happened to me, and no one else is going through what I've been through, and sometimes you think that you're the only person that it's happened to. How can we turn that around in our mind to say, well, it was a life lesson. How can I turn this traumatic experience into a learning experience?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not an easy task. You can't do it by yourself. It's like when you want to learn, like you're speaking English. If you want to go and learn German, for example, even though it's the same alphabet as English, but if you don't go to school and learn, or go online and sit and wait for someone to teach you what is AR is called R in English, and that would be some other letters coming together to give you the meaning of R, you're not going to learn. Right? Is the same thing. That's why we as coaches come in, so we can lift up people and say, this is the way, that is the way. And that's another thing that is not one size fits all. The person that is going through divorce at the age of 40 is much different with the person that is going through divorce at the age of 60. You see what I'm saying? The understanding, the experiences, the time that they've been, the person that is going through loss of a family member, being a 40-year-old person and being a 60-year-old person is entirely different. Trauma is nasty. Challenges are nasty. None of them are welcome. But now that they are here, we need to find a way of turning this around in a different way and say, oh, now I can see the gift in this. And it's not an easy task ever. It took me years to learn. There is so much hatred, animosity between children and their parents. I used to hate my father with all my passion. He was the most dictator man. He was one of the, and one of my brothers were the reason I wanted to leave Iran, and I did, But carrying the burden of hating my father for all those years, it brought me not one bit of freedom, happiness, peace, joy, none of that, none whatsoever, until I learned to look at it in a different way. But my God, I went through so much of a training with Wayne Dyer, Ram Dass, Maya Angelou, Mother Teresa, all of these people. And I was still saying why, where, how, what, until I finally learned it. Now, every time I looked back at my father in my imagination, I wanted to say, like, come here, let me punch you, and I wanted to just go on his grave and like step on his grave and just say, the hell with you and all of that. Now, when I talk about my father, I said, bless your soul. May you rest in peace. Thank you for the way you hit the crap out of me. He beat the shit out of me when I was 16 years old or 17 years old. And I said, thank you. Thank you for doing that, because that taught me a lesson that I need to get on my feet and find my way out, or I would have been still unhappily living there. Everything is our choice in life. One big thing I always say, life is all about choice and the choices we make, so choose wisely. Once I learned that, and I turned my anger and my frustration towards forgiveness, number one, for myself. Self-forgiveness is massive, and more than half the world is unaware of it. And the minute you say, forgive myself, why? What have I done? I'm a wonderful person. What do you mean? Oh, yes, you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. I had to forgive myself to be so judgmental over my father. You cannot forgive somebody else before you forgive yourself, because if you not forgive yourself and you keep on forgiving somebody else, that show will go on forever. And 2 minutes later, after you forgive them, you're going to have to feel that anger and animosity again towards them. once you forgive yourself, you open the doorway to the heaven of being forgiveness no matter what. That's how
Learn
you
to
just
forgive themselves.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Pardon? What was that?
Sorry. How does one learn to forgive themselves?
The very simple way, I always say, I went and talked about it live. I go a lot live on different platforms that I have, even if it's for 60 seconds, I just do that. The most simple way and the most difficult way, go in front of the mirror, close the door. You don't need company. You want your own company. Look at the mirror. Look at all these wounds that you see inside out for you. Look at them, pat yourself on your back and say, girl, you are beautiful. You are successful. You are a good person. Even if you're not, but you just talk positive to yourself and you lift yourself up. Even if you've lost an eyesight in a fight, if you lost a limb in a fight that you're so mad, you say, you are wonderful. You are a great child of God. You are a divine being. And you say that to yourself and you say, I love you and I'll forgive you. As simple as that. Do you know how hard I have had to work with many, many people in the world to get them to take the phone with me, if we were in Zoom or in person, take it and go to the bathroom I want you to be in front of the mirror and I want you to say that. And it took them 15, 16, 17 minutes and say, I can't do it. I can't do it. Or they started it and then they gave it up. Can't do it. It's not happening. It's not happening. I said, we're not leaving this room until you do it. And when they do it, they're down on the ground, they're crying. Sometimes they're mad and angry. But once they've done it, because I am pushing them to step out of their comfort zone. Once they're outside of the comfort zone, not only they feel unbelievably liberated, they also learn, this result is the result of forgiving me. You don't need somebody out there to forgive you. You need to forgive yourself. You need to be your own best friend, period. End of the story. And you can become a best friend when you learn to do the mirror talk and forgive yourself. That's the fast, easy, free thing I give everybody. You want to have that forgiveness? Go in front of a mirror.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that it can be quite daunting and challenging for anyone to go and do that, to actually stare themselves in the face.
It's the most difficult thing.
Yeah, I've heard that is, and Sharlene, who's my co-host, she does it every day. But she said when she first started, it was like so hard, and yeah, I'm not brave to do it.
I have a question for you, or anyone that says it's hard. I have a question. When they say, is that difficult? I said, my question for you is, could you tell me what is easy in life? What does come to you easily, except nothing? Nothing in life is easy. Nothing.
It's very, very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Fari, where can people find you if they want to reach out and, work with you or just find out a little bit more about what you offer?
The easy thing is my website, and it's only one word. My name, Fari Transformation. And that's it, www.faritransformation.com, or people can easily email me, fari@faritransformation.com, and I have no problem giving out my phone number. And also I am on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, all of it, and everything is Fari Transformation. And if they have a difficulty to find, but my website, there's no space. It's only one word, Fari Transformation, with no space. And the best thing is that if they find it difficult to find my name, then they can go on my first name, Fari, Gonzaque, and it can be related. But Fari transformation is just one word. And
wonderful. Fari, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. So please go and check Fari out at faritransformation.com and see what she's about and all the bits and pieces that she has to offer. And, you know, you too can be transformed, but remember you have to forgive yourself first before you can forgive others. Fari, thank you again, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Healing Through Love. You can get further resources, see the show notes, or simply reach out to us via our website at htlaustralia.org. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to your company next time on the Healing Through Love podcast.